Hello, hello, hello again, and welcome back to another daily technical analysis video. In this video, we're going to be covering Bitcoin. Okay, now as you can see, we've clearly been, at least for the weekly time frame, we've been downtrending for quite some time, but it is potential that we are seeing a potential bottoming, but we cannot make a judgment until the next 3 days and we actually get a full closure of that weekly. The reason I would say that is because then we'd have, let's double check. Nope, we'd have a close to a double bottom around this level, and these, what is called, the inverse hammers, maybe doji's inverse hammers, and then a bullish golfing. But again, we can't judge anything because this candle could just as easily be a quick wick and back down, so we can't say much about that. But even then, it doesn't matter, because if we look at our patterns that we have, we are on the bottom of this range as well, this large weekly, kind of like a yearly range as well, so we could be at the bottom, and that would add confluence towards the upside. Now, as for the momentum as well, we do see a potential cross and rejection of the oversold territory, which would add more to the bullishness of this play. And if we do get that closure where this does cross, we do see a very large bullish divergence. We see obviously rising lows, but on the stochastics we have that decline here. I just want to double check if our RSI is the same way. Definitely, you can see even just here, or to this one right here. Nope, we can do this one right here. Even then, there's already a bullish divergence. We see the price action rising from this low to this low, but then this low and this low is already down. So this could be the uptrend start of the rise that we're going to be potentially seeing as the year follows through. But essentially, the momentum's looking good. Potentially the price action as well. We do got to watch out for this EMA play though. Yes, they are slightly more bullish, this setup at least, if we pull out the other ones as well. Like for instance, if we pull out the 100 is positive, finding support, 21. The lower, anything lower is kind of a little bit more of a bearish signal. This 1050, the 10 white crossing down this gold, yellow 55 EMA is also pretty bearish. We could see that 1055 play where we do see these are just retests of the 10 EMA before seeing further decline, maybe even towards the 200 red EMA or further. But it really depends. It depends again on the next week, maybe the next 2 weeks, to see how this stochastics momentum and all the price action plays out. Now, if we move on to the daily time frame, we do see that we are also in a range as well. So if we just ignore this current range and remove this bullish divergence bottom, we do see that potentially it has been ranging a pretty significant range within this section since January, actually, within this range right here. One thing to note though, it does look like a potential ascending triangle, rising bottom and a flat top. So this could be maybe a reversal pattern at the bottom of this play, because of the fact that this ascending triangle is playing on a downtrend. But as of right now, then what we want to watch is potentially a rise toward that top of the triangle. But one thing that we did also identify was this fib channel here. So we do see that we got the two bottoms, a couple of hits at the top, maybe even one front run here, and finding support off the 0.75 a couple times, even a double bottom right here before pushing up. But as of right now, we are getting rejection from that daily pivot and the median of this range. And there's also 4-hour levels of EMAs that are rejection too. Like even the 55 of the daily EMA could be pretty as a rejection resistance level. So we could see a decline from here. But even then, the momentum is looking pretty bullish too. It's rising along with the price action. We got a cross above the 50. If we go to this as well, we see that it is above the 50 moving average, the RSI, which is pretty bullish. And another sign of bullishness is that we have that rising week over week pivot. See the pivot in the median. If we cover this, we see the pivots right here, and now it's above here. So if we do make our way and break this resistance, we got a lot of ways to go to the upside, and there's actually more confluence towards the upside. But as of right now, for the shorter time frames, we have to get above this level before we can see the rises. Even then, there could be just consolidation on the lower levels, which we're just going to quickly assess to see whether that is possible. Now, we are rejecting at the top of this high volume node twice, so we do want to break that level as well. But if we do go to see to the downside, there is a hourly level, which I can show later, but as of right now, we do see that pivot here. The point of control from the volume profile visible range. Now, if we do make our way towards the downside, that is slightly in confluence with that hourly pivot. But even then, as you can see, to add confluence to that rise in this potential ascending triangle, we do see that 4-hour uptrend. Along with that, we do see a clumping EMAs, which is slightly difficult to kind of assess what is going on. I mean, even then we've got that perfect 1050 bounce and we are going up as of right now. This could be just a retest of that 10 EMA before continuing to the upside. The momentum is stronger because it's in the bullish territory. So I do believe we have a higher chance of breaking this resistance. It is crossed towards the upside in the bullish territory. Not only that, but one thing I do want to watch for is, you notice all these large wicks from the upper end of these candles. I want to be careful that there is an initiation of a retracement, maybe even to reset the indicators or just to get closer. Or, well, more like, not really, kind of like, maybe even just initiate a range here, or even just a retest, maybe even to the top here, or that, oh no, just kidding. But if we go to the lower time frames, I'm only going here to see what happens at this resistance level. We have identified this resistance level, and we can see that we've had a double top and a decline from there thus far. And as of right now, this is a lower high. So we could see that continuation down. I mean, momentum is confirming that. If we go in the hourly momentum, we see the 50, and the RSI is below that 50 moving average as well. So that's add more confidence towards the downside. But even then, like I said, we could be finding a range here, and that it would be very nice, because then that would be a consolidation before we actually break that pivot on the larger time frames. Like on the 4 hour, we haven't had a break above it, so we could just see consolidation and slowly eventually break above it, and that would add confidence to this idea where we have the bullish momentum, and we could see the top as like a double bottom here and the top to be hit. But with that being said, I want to look and see what kind of range is here. It might be too early to determine, but it could potentially be a range like this one, a sideways range like this. I can bring up the volume and see whether it kind of adds up to that. Yeah, I really like that. This definitely could be just a range, so we might not even fall further. We could just see bounces within these levels. I really like how this volume profile lines up with the point of control right in the center of the channel, which is definitely a good thing to keep in mind when you're in a range. So we could see those rejections, but even then, if we do fall below here, we could find as levels of buying, right? It doesn't seem like there's going to be a chance to rise right now because of the declining in momentum, but if it does decline around here, it's definitely a good time to pick it up at the bottom around 40,500. Again, that's because we are in that range. EMAs are towards the upside, and if we get that 200 red crossing above the 377, that would add more confidence, at least on the hourly, for that rise. We also, I guess because we're in this range, we want to watch for potential crosses of the stochastics, which would therefore indicate a cross and rise within the range, because that's how stochastics and momentum in general work during a range play. But even then, if we do break above this, I would consider this a flag. So we could be targeting somewhere near the top above here, 43,600. Not too big of a fan of this because of the fact that it is an arbitrary level, just based off the previous impulse. But if actually we play based on the 4 hour, we could see a larger target, and that would be just under the R3, the HR3, and the top of that triangle. This one's a bit more liked, but that is if the 4 hour is the range. Otherwise, if it's the 1 hour range, we could be targeting around here. But in general, even if we target here, we could see that fall before going back to the upside. Honestly, it does look a little bit bullish, especially since, well, I guess the markets are rising too and everything else like that. But as of right now, I'd be playing this consolidation. Chances are towards the upside. But again, if we do break below, then we play it as that. We play it as a retracement and potentially down to this level that we were talking about before. But that's it for Bitcoin, and we're going to come back and check again tomorrow and see how it's doing and see whether it actually plays out to be in this manner. And again, as of right now, we're going to play it as the market gives it to us. And that's it for this video. Hope you liked it. Hope you learned something from it. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more videos like this one. And we can do multiple series analyzing different coins. And if you happen to have any other ideas as to what coins you want me to be analyzing, feel free to drop something down in the comments below. Cheers.